politicians and by extension and association, their families and those that work with them and for them lead very stressful lives. And many of us are dealing with problems of extreme political violence, of terrorism and of injustice and humanitarian need. And we're all looking for answers. And I suggest we're looking for answers not just about the great problems facing the world and mankind, but also about how we should conduct our own lives better. Sri Ravi Shankar teaches the importance of spirituality, of love, compassion, and enthusiasm. He wants to create a world free of stress and violence and offers us tools to help accomplish this. Concentrating on breathing, not just as the stuff of life, but as the essential link between mind and body. Sri reaches millions through his Art of Living courses around the world and through his humanitarian work and his missions for peace to Pakistan and to Iraq and to other places. The Indian subcontinent, of course, has been the source of great spiritual thinkers for millennia, and we are understanding how very embracing and eclectic so much of that thinking has been. I had the great pleasure of first meeting Sri some 5 years ago when he came to this Parliament. The following year, in 2011, I experienced the extent of his reach and the power of his message when I attended his great gathering at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. He even gave me the honor of allowing me to address the tens of thousands that were there. Somewhat more, I have to say, than attend many of the political events which I normally am addressing. Sri's message is not rooted in any one religion, but is relevant to those of no religion and to all religions. And today we're giving an hour or so of our time to hear of ways of coming to terms with ourselves and the great problems that we confront. So it is an enormous honor and pleasure to welcome Sri Ravi Shankar to be with us today.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman of the House, and the dignitaries on the dais, my friends, His Excellencies, and members of this great European Parliament. If there is a competition for God today in the world, I would say that is stress. Stress has become almost synonymous to God. It's so omnipresent. Everywhere you can find stress. Now, what really stress is? Too much to do, too little time, and no energy. Right? You agree with me? We have a lot to do, and we don't have much time. In a short time, we have to do a lot, but there is not energy. And this causes stress. Now, how to get rid of it? Either reduce the workload, which doesn't appear to be a possibility these days, increase the time, which we cannot do anyway. It's fixed, unless we go to another planet somewhere. The only option we are left with is to increase the energy level within us. So when we have enough energy and enthusiasm, we are able to face any challenges and handle any challenges. This is one aspect of yoga way, is to provide us tools and techniques to live a stress-free life, tension-free life. On the other hand, yoga is also the greatest wealth of humankind, I would say. Because what is wealth? Wealth is that brings us comfort. The purpose of wealth is to bring happiness and comfort, isn't it? If wealth doesn't succeed in achieving this goal of bringing comfort to human psyche, human life, I wouldn't call it wealth. And yoga is wealth in that sense. It brings absolute comfort. A violence-free society, disease-free body, confusion-free mind, inhibition-free intellect, trauma-free memory, and a sorrow-free soul is the birthright of every individual. And the parliaments world over are striving to achieve this goal of human existence, that's happiness. Isn't it? We all want happiness for our people. And yoga is the way for that much needed happiness factor in life. I'm glad today there is awakening. People have recognized the importance of yoga. World over, yoga has become synonymous with relaxation, happiness, or a creative mind. Even big companies in advertisement, they put people sitting in a yoga position in meditation pose to depict the inner peace one has. That's a very welcome move. But one thing I would like to remind you, whether we like it or not, we're all born yogis. You don't need a yoga teacher. If you observe a baby anywhere in the world, from the age of 3 months to the age of 3 years, a baby does all the yoga postures, the breathing, the way they sleep, the way they smile, everything is yoga. Right? Baby is a yoga teacher. And see, a baby is a yogi. And that's how baby is stress-free. There is happiness, you know. A baby smiles 400 times a day. And yoga, purpose of yoga is to put a smile on you. In spite of all the stress and tension or situations that we are put in our day-to-day life. Now, the benefits of yoga are multifold. There are many, many benefits. Number one, health benefits. Second is it changes the behavior of a person, because behavior depends on the stress level in a person. It creates a friendly disposition and a very pleasant atmosphere on people. You know, in fact, we convey a lot through our presence, our vibes. And yoga helps to improve our vibes. Do you see what I'm saying? You see, we convey more than words, we convey through our presence, our vibrations. I would like to give you an example. See, you can notice this clear difference when someone close to you tells you, have a nice day, and the air hostess greeting you, have a nice day. When you get off the plane, air hostess greet you, have a nice day. They really don't mean it. But the same words, when it comes to you from a kid or a kin or a very close friend, it carries certain vibes. So, speaking in terms of quantum physics, we're all emitting vibes, our wavelengths. We often say our wavelengths don't match. You know, when communication breaks down, this is what we are used to saying, our wavelengths don't match. Because our ability to communicate depends on our ability to receive communication from others. Here, yoga helps us to have that clear mind. Another issue that we face in society today is prejudice. All type of prejudice. Prejudice with religion, race, gender, class, and educational status, financial status. All these different type of prejudice has clogged the mind of men, and that's how conflicts arise in society, what we see all around us. And yoga helps us to reach out and resolve this conflict created by prejudice. So it spontaneously and naturally makes our mind free from prejudice. Coming to the other aspect of developing skills within oneself. The propounder of yoga has said, yoga karmasu kaushlam. In Gita, Lord Krishna had said, yoga is skill in action. Yoga is not just an exercise. It is how skillfully you can communicate and how skillfully you can act in any given situation. This is again is yoga. And I don't think anyone here would say we don't want skills. Anyone here would say we don't want innovation. Innovation, intuition, skills, and better communication. All these are side effects of yoga. I won't even say the main effects, they're side effects of yoga. These things come to us naturally. Having said that, does yoga conflict with any of our belief system? I believe in a particular religion or particular philosophy, or I follow a particular political thought line. Does it conflict? I would say not at all. As yoga always promotes harmony in diversity. It encourages diversity. The word yoga itself means uniting all diverse aspects of existence, of life. Now, whether someone is a businessman or a public figure or private individual, you want peace, you want to smile, you want to be happy. And this happiness can only happen when we look into the root cause of it, of unhappiness. And unhappiness is because lack of vision, stress, tension. So again, European Union have been talking quite a bit about also GDH. I suppose from GDP we are moving towards GDH, gross domestic happiness. And here is something that can aid that. Aid can be a very, very useful tool. A large percentage of this of our population today is suffering from depression. And just popping a Prozac and other antidepressant is not going to help in the long run. We need something that's so natural as our breath, that we can use and elevate our spirit and feel that much needed happiness, the pursuit of happiness with everybody is after. When we are happy, what is our experience? What is our feeling? I just want to ask you a question. When you're happy, what is that you feel? Have you noticed a sense of expansion within you? Suppose you're complimented or you accomplished something you wanted to accomplish. You find there is something in you expanding. At the same time, when we face a failure or when someone insults us, what happens in us? There is something in us that shrinks. So, yoga is putting our attention to this something in us that seems to be expanding when we are happy and crushing or contracting when we feel unhappy. Often we feel helpless about our negative emotions because neither in school nor at home, anyone teaches us how to handle our negative emotion, right? If you are upset, you remain upset to wait for time to heal you. Yoga has the secret to turn this state of mind. It makes you so independent, empowers you to feel the way you want to feel at any time instead of being a victim of your own feelings. In our experience in teaching in prisons around the world with 500,000 people, this is what we have found. Every culprit says he is a victim of something around. See, when we heal the victim in him, the culprit disappears. And breath, as simple as breath, can do this job for us. We just need to learn how to breathe in different rhythms, in different patterns, and eliminate those traumas, those strong impressions in the mind, or the pain, suffering we have been carrying in our heart. Again, the propounder of yoga, Patanjali, said, he enunciated the purpose of yoga. He said, Heyam Dukkam Anagatam. The purpose of yoga is to stop the misery before it comes. So, on many counts, this is very useful. When a conflict is boiling somewhere, ask people to breathe and sit together and communicate better. You can see you can resolve the conflict right at the very root cause of it. Whether it's greed, jealousy, anger, hatred, or frustration, all these negative emotions can be healed or reoriented through yoga. And this is my experience throughout the world. Having said this, I would also say one more thing. Yoga also helps someone to to be more responsible, to take more responsibility in life. This is called karma yogi. A karma yogi is one who takes responsibility. We all play many roles in our life. We have an option to play the role either as a yogi or as a non-yogi, or one who is responsible and one who is not so responsible. You can have a responsible teacher, a doctor with responsibility, a businessman who cares, who has responsibility. That caring and sharing and responsibility are the characters that yoga simply nurtures inside of us. We all have this inside us. The entire population has, but it needs nurturing. And yoga is the one, I would say, is one of the best tools to nurture an individual to take responsibility.
Good afternoon. Which are the qualities that yoga can help you develop in order to become a more responsible person towards yourself and the others?
Yeah, I think I just explained that yoga can definitely make you more responsible because it creates more energy and enthusiasm in you. You know, when you don't like to take responsibilities, when you're tired, right, and stressed. If you have taken care of these two issues and you have enough enthusiasm and energy, you'll definitely take more responsibility. And responsibility with a sense of lightness.
Excellency, I have never done yoga in my life, and that's why I've just a very simple question. What is yoga? Is it meditation? Is it a movement of the different postures of the body? And if they are so, what is the scientific linkages between those things and what happens inside, which leads to such a dynamic effect in the form of resolution of conflict and giving us peace of mind?
Okay. First, I would like to refute your first statement. You have never done yoga in your whole life. You have done as a baby, but you don't know it. Because not a single child on this planet has come up without doing yoga. As soon as we are born, when we sleep, as a babies, if you see, we put this mudra. It's called chin mudra, sleeping. In any part of the world you see, when babies are lying down, they lift their legs first. And then they go on their belly and try to lift the shoulders. So they do the bow pose, and then they try to hold the toe. So asanas, to some extent, every child has done on this planet. And then coming to the breathing pattern, the way we breathe is much different from the way baby breathes. And baby has a stress-free mind, a happy mind. So all the signs of yoga are already there in a baby. So we have all been yogi, we are just going back to our roots. And now yoga is eightfold yoga. 8 steps to it. One among that is exercise also, certain postures, physical postures. But mainly maintaining the equanimity in the mind, in the center core. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Yoga is equilibrium in mind. What you can do with mindfulness, any action that you can do, you're performing, at the same time you are aware of it, what you are doing, what you're saying, makes you a yogi.
And what is the scientific basis? What happens actually?
See, science is a systematic, logical understanding of what is. In the sense, yoga is a science, that it is a systematic understanding of the subject. Knowing what this is science. Knowing who am I is spirituality. But both are science.
Sriji, you've been teaching for many years. May I ask you, over all those years, have you changed your mind on any aspect of your teaching? Do you think now you are a very different person to when you started?
I would say, if you ask me, this is a part of me, it's the same throughout. I have not changed. And if you ask me on the other count, have your activities expanded? I would say yes. There are many challenges. Now I am ready to take many more challenges. In that sense, yes. So the answer to this question would be yes and no.
But I'd just like to be devil's advocate, speaking as a Christian, as a Catholic. What do you say to those, particularly, leaders of monotheistic religions, senior clerics in my own religion, in my own faith, the Catholics, that say that yoga has its origins in Hinduism and pantheism, and therefore, and also focused entirely on the physical aspects of the body, can undermine Christian prayer? And therefore, for Christians, it's not necessarily the right approach to spirituality. But just as a devil's advocate, how would you answer that from, say, you're a devout Christian, whether that's compatible with the practice of yoga?
Yeah. I would say by eating Chinese food, we don't turn to become Chinese. And by... When we can accept food from any part of the world, we accept music from any part of the world. Listening to Beethoven doesn't turn you into a German. In the same way, when we can accept food from every part of the world, music from every part of the world, technology from every part of the world, why to single out wisdom or technology that can bring you inner peace without interfering your own faith or belief system? This is my question. Because, see, telephone is universal. And there are certain laws. Yeah, No doubt, yoga has its root in Hinduism. Actually, Hinduism itself is a way of life. In Patanjali never says, talks about so many gods or pantheism, nothing. Patanjali simply says there are body, mind, breath, this life force, attend to this. So I would say we should welcome wisdom irrespective of what its source are, as long as it doesn't conflict with our traditions. You know, if we take just a little more time, say about couple of hours, couple of days, 2 hours, we can learn a lot many techniques related to our body-mind complex. Simple things which would come in handy for us when we are facing a lot of stress, and when we have to, as decision makers, when we have to make important decisions. I would say just take that 10 minutes, sit back, relax, just center yourself, and you'll find something wonder happening inside of us all. Inside. Our intuition gets triggered. And intuition is something which never goes wrong. If it goes wrong, it's not intuition. Thank you.